doing a quick check.
I've
Can you hear
always
me comfortably?
dirtied everything that I found. This ain't no difference. Look
Great,
at you
memories.
now. And baby, cut yourself. Baby, cut yourself loose.
Check, check, check. And I can always adjust adjust the
Say all
sound.
the things that I said that night. Playing it cool, but I never got
Yeah, it's
it right.
weird. I didn't have the
Baby, cut
settings to
yourself.
go.
Baby, cut yourself loose. I was mesmerized by your eyes.
Warning, LinkedIn doesn't support 60. Please check your streaming settings and say yes, yes, 30.
Keep me up every
Oh,
night.
LinkedIn, what's going on?
There ain't no satisfaction for me now. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. Now that you're gone, now that you're gone, now that you're gone.
Thank you for sharing.
You know everything that I am.
Probably thinks that
Caught in the palm, no backup plan. So baby, cut yourself.
All right.
Baby, cut yourself.
put one of those drinks in the fridge. I gotta wait for Joel to text me. Do you remember last week how last time we did this, did we connect to Google Hangouts or Teams?
Cut yourself, baby, cut yourself loose.
Okay.
I was mesmerized by your eyes. Keep me up every night. Keep me up every night. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. Now that you're gone, now that you're gone. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. Now that you're gone, now that you're gone, now that you're gone. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. Now that you're gone, now that you're gone. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. Now that you're gone, now that you're gone. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. There ain't no satisfaction for me now. Now that you're gone, now that you're gone. Now
Oh yeah.
that you're gone.
Now you should still get it. I think you still get it, right? Like the not punched in. The full video feed, right? The actual camera. Yeah, you can unmute it too if you want. Yeah, I know. Oh. Imagine someone grabbed it and typed it in. That'd be funny. Should be joining any second. What happened? Oh god, let me get in there and see what's happening. Not very punctual, my Roku. Hey, you could say I'm not very punctual, but I think I'm still 30 minutes earlier than Roaring Kitty would have been to his own live stream, the last two of them. Oh, I have to let him in, it says. Admit. My bad. Is like it was telling me to like let you in. It was like, hey, let him in. I didn't know. I thought you had a free pass to get in here. Oh, he doesn't hear me.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I was worried that you couldn't hear me. Are you able to hear him, Mr. Analyst? Yeah, he's talking. Speak to the crowd. Oh, we lost you. I heard you, then you disappeared. Check.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. There we go.
I was supposed to. This microphone was supposed to work. I was trying to get this here.
Yeah.
Soft.
I'm on the up.
Turn off and on. How is the video?
The video, it was I need to so I'm working, I gotta record the actual overlay, right? Because I want to do the whole review of the summit. That's just the montage for like the summary. So I'm gonna record it this weekend. I've been working on the script and stuff, so definitely looking forward to putting that one together. I probably even will throw some of these clips in here. Yeah. But I thought so I was
hold on.
Yeah.
Just to test the microphone. Is this better? Ask your guy, your tech guy.
Yeah, which one's better? The one you're talking through right now, you said it's pretty good.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. I have these big ass earphones, and they don't even probably have the best quality. So it's probably better you ask someone who hears the whole mix.
And by the way, man, thank you so much. This camera is so good.
Yeah, no, bro.
You probably noticed the difference, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you can see my wrinkles now.
I know. Is that a bad thing? Too much detail? Too much? Yeah, I like it. It softens up the background. I like how it has the nice soft drum set in the back, right? The bokeh looks nice and smooth.
Over there.
Nice. Yeah. Is that electric drum kit?
It is.
Okay. Yeah, I have. Have you ever played Rock Band? It was like a PlayStation thing.
Yes, I used to be very good at it. So we have we were a few friends. We used to work together, and this guy, he had the entire band. He had like 2 guitars, drum kit, microphone, and we would just jam like overnight.
Yeah,
it was pretty amazing.
I love that. Yeah, I have some very fun memories of having the whole like rock band set, and I was a drummer. I'm sure nowhere near what you're capable of actually having someone
who used to play the drums.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Well, I wasn't coordinated enough my fingers, they would cramp trying to play the guitar. I don't know what it is. My grandfather played the guitar. I can't.
Nice.
I just like the drums. I don't know. There's something about the drums that just, I don't know. I think it's the best instrument there is. I wish I would have learned to play it, but what are you drinking on, sir? I got this random thing called a decoy.
It's a duck.
Yeah, it's a duck, and it's called a premium seltzer. Drinking fancy Chardonnay with clementine orange.
Well, that seems to. Okay, you said orange.
He said Gabe.
Yeah.
Anytime I bring the fruit in, hey,
why? So, man, you are in the industry, right? In the beverages industry.
Yes.
Why do you drink a beer with orange? Like, why don't you just get an orange juice?
That's a very valid question. I don't know if I have the answer to that. This is worse. It's not even a beer. It's a Chardonnay with orange. I don't know if that's good or not. Maybe it's maybe got like a mimosa vibe. I don't know. I'm trying to get weird with it. And I know every time I bring something on here that has fruit in it, you're gonna like look at me like I'm crazy. So part of it is always a shout out to you.
Well, since we are public here, I cannot express myself the way I would like. So I would just say Yeah, don't do that, man.
I like the way you put it. I think that was an excellent way to put that. So I can't even hate. But cheers. What are you drinking on, sir?
Okay, so I probably already had this.
Hmm.
Remember this
I don't
one?
remember this one. No, I
No,
would have thought I remember that can. Yeah.
it's
Steam
steam
whistle.
whistle.
Okay.
Man, this is a uh, local brew. How do you say brew? Right,
Yeah.
brewery.
Yeah. Brewery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this word's so difficult for me, but it's
Yeah.
local from Toronto. Um,
Nice.
I don't know the full story. I just know that what I heard, it used to be like three guys, and then
Hmm.
they
Oh,
just
wow.
got together and created the beer.
Hmm.
And it's amazing. They have their store in downtown.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's really huge, and I like very well. It's premium pilsner. This one,
Hmm.
so it tastes like beer.
Nice. This tastes probably nothing like beer, but cheers. Cheers to us and us being spontaneous. Maybe you did bring it last time, and maybe it was already in the cup. But that's why I didn't know. I like the can though. Cheers,
Yeah.
brother. Cheers
Cheers.
to anybody else out there that has a can or bottle crack.
So yeah.
Tastes like a duck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, I even have, dude. I wrote down. I got questions for you.
Yeah, I need to get my notes from
There we
last
go.
week.
So, right.
My notepad.
There were so many interesting things, right? And I'm sure that one of the topics, you probably don't even have notes for, because
Tell me.
wasn't even about forward, right? And that's something that's happened because it's been.
Summit, not forward.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, excuse me. Summit, not forward. And I think that this is. I want to get a couple of questions I have are related to the summit and this topic, but since we've had our last podcast, the former CEO of UiPath, Rob Enslin, is stepped down and is no longer the CEO. So I think that's a very interesting topic. And first of all, what are your thoughts on that? As a big $1 billion software company, do you have any opinion on or thoughts on that? It seems pretty interesting to me.
So the guy that stepped down was the one we had the meeting, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Ago.
Yes. That was him. Yeah, he stepped down. That's the one.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, man, to be very honest, my opinion on this is going to be pretty shallow.
Yeah, sure.
I don't follow the news. I don't know much what's happening. But whenever someone as high as he was leaves the company, like something is going on, right?
Yeah.
And then
right.
we notice right after the move that stock shares just
30%.
went downhill like tremendously. So yeah, I don't know, man. This might be a movement internally, UiPath doing something to, with a better vision. Because one thing I'm sure, right? So people that are that high, they have a different vision, right? So they know much more than we do they have a holistic view for the entire company.
Yeah.
So when they do something like that, either it's with a vision long term, or it's totally like catastrophic, right? Something very catastrophic happened.
Yeah.
What happened? I don't know. But tell me, because I know you was reading about it. I didn't, by the way. So that's why I'm saying is very shallow.
Yeah, no doubt. I think, well, to be honest, I think that anybody's opinion on what actually happened, unless you're inside those walls, is going to be shallow in nature. I'm glad that Lance in here, he said his position is still green on UiPath. He must have bought it a perfect time, which I think now is a wonderful time. I do feel like I think you nailed it. There had to have been something. Either they were only 6 months on the job as the official CEO. He was like a co-CEO with Daniel for quite a while, and then finally kind of took over. So it had to be something where I don't think that the board gets rid of him that quick, even if the thing isn't like you're not getting a bunch of results, right?
Yeah.
Um,
It's too
so
short period of time to
yeah,
show
to
actual
assess.
results. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't in a company that big too, right? And it's different, right? Because you only have sort of this summit itself as a perspective. I remember last year's summit and sort of what the focus was and what the topic of conversation was, kind of across the board. It was different, right? They were really focused on growth and they were really focused on like citizen development. And you really didn't hear any of that, in this summit, which I thought was
No,
interesting.
not at all.
Yeah, so I think that's I don't know. I think to me I there's either something big happening or something catastrophic happened, right? And I feel like this is like a liability potentially, right? Either he had, something happened and they might have had to say, "Hey, this isn't gonna, this isn't gonna work for us," and then decided to make a quick decision, or there's something big going on, right? So I don't know. I don't know honestly. I've read some interesting articles about investors and what they think might happen to the company being 10 years old now, with consolidation. I remember I mentioned to you I saw that lawsuit, right? Faruqi or
Hmm.
something out of New York filing a lawsuit against a UiPath. I noticed that that was pretty interesting, but I don't think there's a lot of merit to it. But anyway, so that's my thought. But I had a follow-on question for you though. Given that the CEO just the exploding washing machine, given the CEO just is gone now, did you feel like there was any impact? Did you feel like there was any chaos at the summit, or did anything stick out to you that felt like a company who just lost their CEO, or did everything seem like pretty buttoned up?
No, definitely not. I didn't see like my take on this. Like this summit was as smooth as it could be. They didn't
Yep.
mention anything, right? So
Yep.
they were very straightforward. Let's
Mm-hmm.
assess the product. Let's show up to the MVPs what we have, get their feedbacks, and just move forward. I they didn't mention anything regarding that. So
Yeah.
I that's actually what I would expect, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Same. Same.
because so what happened, right?
Yep.
Let's move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And they may have a mandate, to actually don't bring this up as well.
Oh, that's very true. Depending on what app happened, that's very true. But I agree.
Yeah,
Excuse me. I made
sure.
the same in my assessment, kind of writing on LinkedIn about it. Right, I didn't feel like there was any disruption. Everything felt smooth. It was actually, to me, it ran smoother than last year's session. Um, and I think that everybody was pretty focused. Right, they were focused on their task. Everybody seemed fired up about their specific lane. So I didn't feel like there was any disruption at all. I don't feel like there was any issue, and I feel like everybody was kind of locked in, even Graham, right, the chief product officer. So, what from your perspective, right? What stood out to you across the summit those 3 days? What kind of, is there anything before even looking at your notes that's just still like burned into your memory?
I will tell you the same thing that I actually told during the interview,
Mm-hmm.
because they were asking. I think I had two interviews. The first one and the last day they interviewed me again. I don't know if you participate on that last one,
Mm-mm.
but one of the questions was like this, right? What stood up for you during the summit? And
Yeah.
I will repeat this whenever someone asks me this question, because for me, to be honest, I had no idea what to expect from the summit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was the
Yeah.
first time,
Mm-hmm.
and but to me, to be that close from the product managers, right, seeing firsthand what they are trying or what they are doing for the next versions or generations, right,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to give feedbacks on their products and be listened, right,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
anybody can bullshit about whatever product, right?
Yeah. Very
But
true. Very true.
who is going to listen to you, and actually who is going to take in consideration what you are saying, right?
Yeah.
And think, oh, you might be right? So
Yeah.
let me take this back, reassess, and maybe this can be something that we want to change.
Mm-hmm.
So that approach to me was the most amazing thing that I've seen lately, right?
Yeah.
Because I've I'm I'm in this industry for almost 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I might look 18,
Oh yeah,
right?
you looked 19, 17. Maybe even a few years less.
I might look young, but man, I mean, I've been around for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I was never a member of a community like this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I joined the community and I started working, I thought, oh no, this is interesting. Like, oh yeah, meeting people, sharing stuff. I love to share knowledge.
Yeah.
But the summit was the pinnacle for me in
Mm-hmm.
terms of, yes, this is actually a community, right?
Yeah.
Because
For real. Mm-hmm.
it's not only between us and folks that want to learn, it's also between the UiPath itself, their product managers,
Yeah.
and us,
Correct.
and then cascading down to or cascading to the other users that
Mm-hmm.
somehow they look up to what we are doing.
Yeah, I think that's excellent assessment, right? And what you say marries true across the years. Last year, my first year at the summit, people there mentioned that yet previous year's feedback had already been implemented into the product, right? So that's proof that whatever we say and do does actually end up, in iterations as it gets released. And this is a $1 billion company, right? So it's like thinking like, looking back at Excel and then, or, Word or whatever Access database and thinking, yeah, I helped build that product, right? I talked to those guys that were responsible and we helped create this thing. And the reason it works like it does now is because it was shittier and we helped and said, hey, no, don't put it right there. Put it here. Don't
Yeah,
do that. So
yeah,
that's really, I agree. It has a good feeling. It's not like you're just, don't get me wrong. I do believe there's an aspect of the event that's just a party, right? But that's like the cherry on top of the ice cream, right? The
yeah.
actual event and talking to, and like you said, it's one thing to show up or be recognized amongst your peers or these people, but to be there and have a consistent relationship with a product manager who's been there for multiple years and they know you by name and they can reach out and say, hey, here, I got something I want to run by you. Is this pretty cool?
Exactly.
That's like you said, that's the community part of it. And I think that that's something that you look forward to and that you get to really experience when you're there.
Can I tell
Yeah.
funny story?
Let me hear it.
So I used to work for HSBC back in Brazil.
It's a big
And
bank, right?
yes, it used to be, but in 2015 they sold all the everything that they had in Brazil to Citibank. But
Hmm.
anyway, back in 2010, 2011, somewhere in between, I remember like they had so many legacy systems, right?
Yeah.
And there were like thousands of people working there for decades.
Okay.
And I was working with this guy. He was very older than me, much older than me, and he used to brag about a system that he created, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we were all we used to joke, that that was a really bad system. And then whenever he was, oh, I built the system, we would say, man, if I were you, I wouldn't say that.
I was
I would
gonna
keep to yourself.
I was gonna say I
Yeah.
wouldn't admit to that. I wouldn't admit to that. No. I wish you wouldn't have built the system, honestly.
So he didn't have the community, right, to give
Mm.
feedback and say,
Yes.
oh, see, change this, update this, no, don't do that.
that's that's what happens, man, when you don't get solid feedback. You think that you just like high five your own ideas, right? You think they're really
Yeah.
good and then they don't you can never properly estimate how people actually use your product, right? You just have no idea. You'll intend all day for them to, you know, do this with these components, and then what they actually use them for, like, God knows. Only God wouldn't tell you how this is going to turn out.
Man, there is a very good picture, very simple but very powerful, at least to me. It's a garden, like there's this like green lawn, like amazing, beautiful, and then there's a market like user design. So it's design, and then there's a path.
VJ. Saw VJ
Yeah,
in the chat. Sorry.
there's a path, right? The architect designed a path where the people would have to walk one way, but then the actual user experience, they were just crossing the lawn, straight.
Yeah.
So there was the path was like, because people was stepping, so the lawn was dead.
Yeah.
That was the actual user experience, right? So whoever designed that thought, okay, they are going to get this way, but people actually just get shortcuts.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. For some reason you're talking about the paths, and it reminded me when I was in the military and I was in Washington State. We had to do this land navigation training, and it was something that happened during the summertime, and thousands of cadets would be in the middle of the woods in Washington State. And after the first few hundred go through that land nav, even though it's like dense forest, you start to see little trails. Little trails just start popping up, and they only have so many points that they can put out there. What happens is like it's a like land navigation, so they'll put a pole in the ground and they'll have GPS coordinates and then some code on it. So you have to go get the code, and they'll give you like the coordinates, right? And so after a while, you see these trails kind of just form, and as you're like walking through, you're like, okay, it should be around the road, and I should turn right, and you'll just see like a trail kind of confirming that you're in the right spot. But occasionally, though, you get to the spot and there'd just be like nothing there, and then you just like see this broken down pathway, and you follow like every other fool, and you end up spending like 20 minutes and there's nothing out there. Like everybody got the same measurement wrong, probably did the exact same miscalculation, and we're just walking and creating a path into the woods, so you couldn't always trust it. That's what kind of reminds me of what you said. Like, you can build a path, sometimes it's the right one, or sometimes it's completely ass.
Yeah.
Expert advice.
Well, you have to trust your guts, right? So
yeah,
especially when there's unknown and nobody knows what they are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Actually, they may think they know, but to be honest, like in this kind of situation, like it's hard to trust the others because you don't know how much they know.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. We kind of even run into that sometimes with I think that the summit, right? I think there's some people who probably provide feedback, but it's not necessarily from a position of experience, right? It's sort of just like something they experienced once, and hey, this is a problem, and it might not even maybe the solution that you're dealing with is a byproduct of someone facing a different problem, and they just kind of built a fix to it. So, but I think there needs to be a balance, right? Sometimes the most brilliant solutions come by people who barely even know the tool, right? They don't even really know, and they're like, hey, why does it do this? They'll ask a very simple question that leads to something.
Man, something like that just happened like a couple of months ago in
Yeah.
our team. So we are a bank, so security is our main concern. Stable and secure, that's our mandate, right? And we essentially I don't know how much I can share.
Yeah, I know. I try to tiptoe the line. I get you on that.
Yeah. Yeah, but essentially, so we were trying to let me think.
Yeah.
So
you gotta code this, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing, because we are so secure, like there was one requirement that we had either to use jump servers to access the orchestrator.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Or to have MFA, right? Multi-factor authentication. And then we didn't know how to do that. Like we were we were trying to solution. So earlier this year, my manager, he just he joined the team earlier this year, and then I was talking to him, and he said, "Oh, have you thought about using MFA through that service that we already have? The identity service that we already have?" And I said, "No, I haven't."
Yeah.
Well, why don't you check out then?
Yeah.
So the same day I checked with the team that was responsible for the identity provider.
Sure.
And they said, no, it's possible. So like he didn't know anything about UiPath. Seriously, he
Yeah.
like he didn't. He just joined the team. He came from Pega,
Mm-hmm.
so
Okay. Okay.
he's a very skilled guy.
Yeah.
So has this engineering mindset. But yeah, like he didn't know UiPath, and he was solutioning like something that I couldn't.
Yeah. That's a big. That's a massive. I think it's a flaw, but also one of the benefits of the UiPath growth. One thing, even though the products got so divergent and they became so robust. So part of the issue is that there's just no way coming from a guy who's basically used the tool since it came out and now kind of got more into the management side. There's just absolutely no way that one person could fully know all the functionality and the capability of the entire tool, right? From DU to comms mining to just the staying up with the new progress of Studio, right? So what do you even do now in this case? Like, if you're a new developer or you want to be an engineer, do you think that you'd still become a generalist from the beginning, or do you kind of focus and say, hey, I just want to be that guy on DU. I just want to be that guy with test automation. It's gotten so big and there's no way you can hold all of the knowledge. What are your thoughts?
Before I go there,
Yeah.
just to acknowledge what you are saying and to agree with you, like we can tell how big this got just by the MVP on itself, right? Like in the beginning it was MVP, right?
It really was.
Now it's MVP on core automation, MVP on infrastructure, it's mine,
Yeah.
MVP for this, MVP for that. So we have uh, categories. Oh, I have such a
Yeah.
problem with this word, categories,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And that's it, right? You have to be MVP to a specific section or area of the platform as a whole.
Yeah.
But yeah, so man, I see this. For example, I used to work with Java.
Hmm.
In the beginning it was core Java,
Yeah.
right? Back in the day, like people use this just write Java.
Yeah.
But as the time went by, like more and more frameworks, right,
Mhm.
to do like less code, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Java doesn't work really straightforward, like it's not less code.
It's
You
like
have
learning
to
new
import so
libraries
many,
and
yeah, you
yeah.
have to import so many libraries just to
Mhm.
write a hello world. But anyway, so there were so many different frameworks. So
Yeah.
then you are Java,
Mm.
but then Java struct I don't remember anymore. It's so long time. But you are Java for a specific framework. You are Java this, you are Java that. So the Java core was no longer a requirement, right?
Interesting.
Was just a how do you call it? Byproduct, right? Because yeah, if you know, of course you are gonna know because
You have to know Java to do
yeah,
anything.
you
The other
to
parts,
learn the framework, you have to learn the core, right?
man, I
But
couldn't. It's
if
crazy.
you know just the core, what does it matter? It doesn't matter any like that much. You have
Yeah.
to know the frameworks. So UiPath is leaning towards that similar approach, right?
Yeah.
Where we have so many things, and now we have like AI. So
Hmm.
specialists in AI. There's a certification for AI.
Yeah.
We have document understand, which is becoming like a megazord, right?
Yeah. That is
It's becoming
it's
it's
its own
becoming
thing.
a kraken, right? So a
Yes.
kraken in a good way because of the size, right?
Very true.
So
Very true.
so then the core itself, of course, like people will start from the core to
Mm.
to get introduced to the tool, to the platform, but very rapidly they will just migrate to some other section of the
Yeah.
platform.
Naturally, too, right? As you progress, and sometimes it's natural progression, but it might not have been your natural choice, right? You could be a developer and end up on the DU side because
Because of the environment.
you're disconnected up there. Yeah. Yeah. I started hearing myself. Um. But yeah, no, I think that's like you end up just doing DU because you're, in on a DU project, right? You get assigned to it. But yeah, I would love to get VJ on here, because I know that part of his, like, the way he even looks at the industry is through opportunities and job listings, right? Which is a different metric. We can sit here and talk about this or that all day, but I'm also genuinely interested in the market itself and how it grows and like the job opportunities. Because if we want to advocate on the back of a software specific high tech product, everything has a lifespan, and you got to kind of understand when you're getting in, right? Even you mentioned it, right? You learn Java, but eventually, depending on what you want to do, if you want to get into mobile apps, Java itself isn't enough, right? You got to kind of start learning, different stuff. And I think that's a given. I think that in the IT space, it's been said that you have to reinvent yourself every like 6 to 8 years, right? If you're not willing to reinvent yourself, probably shorter time frames now, but if
definitely shorter.
Yeah, if you're not willing to reinvent yourself or pick up a new skill, then you're gonna have issues in this industry. It just kind of moves that quick, right? So I agree with you, but I'd love to get some data. I wonder if VJ has any data. Well, I'm interested to see what the trends are.
Who's VJ, by the way?
Vajrang. I call him VJ. Yeah. I call him VJ. Yeah. I don't know if that's.
I was talking to him today, like through messages on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah,
I posted a picture yesterday, calling you. Hey, are you ready? And then he messaged me, oh, you have a good camera. And I thought, oh, that was a compliment from Jeremy.
Dude, so I broke his last year. I still need to get him a new one. I broke his selfie stick last year. Yeah, at the summit. Last year at the summit. If you go back and you watch my like day 3 vlog, I did a vlog each day. I had this weird movie in mind that I was trying to like emulate. Did complete ass, right? It was a horrible job. You would never, get some of the scenes, but part of it requires us to kind of like bump into each other, right? And so like I bumped into each other, and we were trying to make it like I was talking on a selfie stick with my camera, and he bumps and I dropped it. But we were using his selfie stick because I had a real camera. And so when I bumped him, like the selfie stick dropped, and it was good, but I didn't get the right camera angle. So I said, here, let me do it. And he's like, okay. He was kind enough to let me drop it again. And so I have the camera, I'm like propped up, getting the perfect angle, and I drop it. And as it hits the ground, it explodes. Like just breaks into like 3 or 4 pieces. I'm like, oh my God, how embarrassing. I felt so bad. I was like, dude, I owe you for that, to replace your selfie stick. But it was like the last day of the summit. But you saw him too, like this year. He had a nice little tripod. I stayed as far away from it as I could. I was like, I didn't want to break it. Embarrassing, So VJ and I, graciously enough, he liked the video. He said the video turned out great. And so he said that was cool enough, because he was kind of promoting. I wanted to do the video from like his perspective, right? From a day at the summit from his perspective. So that's what I did. But yeah, I had to tell you that story. I felt so bad. I broke his thing. Him and I, we were at Forward too, taking pictures together. And dude, shout outs to that guy. He did 100 interviews at Forward. 100 like short, like 1 question interviews at Forward. Yeah. Can you imagine going to that conference and being able to get 100 people just to be like, yeah, I'll talk to you on camera. That's impressive. You get a bunch of skill and networking just from doing that. Right.
Exactly.
I had to shout out VJ, but that's the only reason.
That's really impressive, because like we were in the MVP and we tried to get people, like we got 4.
Yeah. Oh, bro. So get this.
We couldn't get each other on camera.
Yeah. Right. So get this too. I got good news and bad news. So the good news is I got some of the interviews. The bad news is I didn't get all the interviews. So.
What happened?
Me and Andreas, our interview, 0 audio.
Really?
0 audio. And I think like the lighting, I don't know, you had a better eye. Like you had us in focus. And then like your interview, so Carlos was perfect. That's the one that's probably the best. But then even for Bruna, I don't know what happened, but you guys are just like right outside of focus. So you can probably use it, but it's not like it's kind of fuzzy, right? It's real soft. And I was like, damn it. I was like, damn it. So Carlos is the only one that worked. And then I think that there was some issue with like even VJs and I don't remember. I don't know if it was the audio or I think that one we might have been out of focus. But yeah, there was 2 issues. It's like, damn it. But we have at least one good one. And we can chop up the other ones.
Well, it's a learning curve. Right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Like just by doing these sessions, I am already learning so much, and like even speech wise, right?
Yeah,
learning how to talk, because it's really difficult. Like yesterday, there was this town hall, and I was I was invited to present a solution that I like a challenge that I worked earlier this year.
All right.
So it was a really interesting challenge. Was an actual problem that my company was having, and they were so kind of a hackathon, right?
Sure.
But the problem state was the same for everybody, and then anybody could think of anything, right?
Yeah.
So they were really open, like do whatever you want, use whatever you can.
Sure.
Right? That's available in our environment.
Okay.
So we ended up like I created an automation in UiPath, really core automation. We had some crawler Python script as well.
Sure.
Doing some searches on the web pages. And it turns out it was pretty good. We didn't win the
competition.
The competition, but we got 3rd place.
Okay.
But anyway, so yesterday I had to present this to not only my team, but like a bunch of people that were like, I don't know, 100, 200 people there. And man,
nice.
This is interesting because
it's a big group.
Yeah, if that was online, like virtual, it would be easy peasy. I did presentations like that. I didn't blink. I didn't stutter. Nothing. Was straightforward.
Nice.
When I got in front of in the room, there wasn't that many people, right? But I don't know, 50, 60. When I got in front of them, I just froze, man.
You're like,
I couldn't speak, and then I started, and when I get nervous in front of people, my breathing just vanishes.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You know, and kind of faint. Like less than a minute after I started, I just stopped, and I said, "See," and I was I said, "See, I'm really excited to be here, but at the same time, I'm really nervous." Like,
of course.
Like I'm kind of not being able to speak right now. So, and I made a joke. Like people laughed. So after they laughed, I kind of get a little bit calmer.
Yeah.
And then slowly progressed, and I got the pace right. I got the pace, and I was able to finish. It was awesome. It's a pretty amazing experience. But see, if we don't start somewhere,
very
we
true.
Don't improve, right?
Oh, dude, yeah, absolutely. That's so important. I think that the fact, to be honest, the way you were telling that story, I thought you were about to say that, like, you left. You're like, dude, I couldn't do it. Like after that minute, I was like, dude, I gotta come back. I gotta collect. But the fact, you hung in there. You said a joke, cracked the tension. I think. It's so weird in those situations when you get started because you'll always be the biggest critic of yourself, right? You'll be saying in your head, what you think everybody's thinking, and most people aren't. I remember I remember a piece of advice that somebody gave me in this situation once, and it was a guy who was in the military. He was a company commander, a young guy. And I remember him sitting out there and he told me, he's like, I stand out in formation sometimes and I'm looking at like the 50, 60 you guys out there. And he's like, the thought that often comes in my brain is like, there are a couple of motherfuckers out there who think that they could do a way better job than I'm doing up here right now. And he said, and the worst part about that thought is at least one of them are right. One of them are probably right. He said, but I'm the guy in charge. I'm here for a reason, and I gotta execute. And it kind of helped him just like lock it down. But part of what he was saying is sort of like what you do. Like you admit, like, hey, wait a minute, I'm getting kind of nervous. I'm not really doing it. But at the end of the day, I gotta kind of execute here, and I do that, right? And I think that's a big difference in mentality, right? So that story stood with me.
No, definitely. You have to do right. There. Well, you don't have to do sometimes, right? But
oh, it can go bad though. I've been in a situation where I partnered with UiPath of all groups. I partnered with UiPath and they wanted me to train like hundreds of people. And they were going to do it in these classes, one day, like sort of like 8-hour crash course in like basic citizen development. We were going through Studio X and Studio, and I had Salesforce integration, Outlook integration, and Tableau. And I was working with those companies. But the last second, Tableau said they couldn't help. So I had to figure out something there. And then UiPath never got me any emails, but they wanted me to execute this course. So I ended up in DC. I'm training literally like, there must have been like 40 or 50 people in the class. And I had some people there that were supposed to help. UiPath provided all the laptops. So they got the 50 laptops set up on all the tables. And my team shows up, and all they had to do was log into Outlook and make sure also that Studio was installed on these laptops, right? It was like, when we're going to get into class, I need the Outlook already installed. And I had student IDs, right? I had student 1, student 2, all the way to student 50 preloaded, and my company had made email accounts, and I had used bots to generate hundreds of emails to spam those accounts. And part of the process would be them looking through Outlook. And so I did this, and then the night before, the night before, we get in there, and my crew, nobody sets up any of the laptops. They don't set it up. So they decide, they're like, oh, we're gonna do it. We're gonna go through and do it in the morning. And so they get there and we get the class started. We get there. And these guys are just taking forever. And long story short, like training kicks off, and half the people don't have their emails. Half the people don't have like bots, or they don't even have Studio on their laptop. So I'm like struggling. And this is like in front of UiPath. There's like a UiPath executives there. They even brought like 4 or 5, developers and architects to help with training. And it was basically more or less a shit show. I was able to kind of get everything together and get the class on track, and we finished in time. But like the next day, like I'm up there the next morning, like I grab everybody, like I pull them in. We do like a daily stand up, and I say, hey, you're responsible for this. Like boop, 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 boop. But, I even sometimes, like no matter how well you want it to go, sometimes shit will just not go well, right? Like sometimes, your plans aren't going to work out, and you got to figure out how to still, execute when, your pants are on fire. So,
yeah, a wise man once said, shit happens.
Yeah, right. It does. It does. I like that. What happened? Oh, that was like, have you seen Forrest Gump when he says that too? Like he steps in, he's like, oh man, you stepped in a pile of shit. And he's like, it happens. And he's like, what shit? He's like, I guess, whatever he says. It reminded me of when he said that.
Forrest Gump's a very nice movie.
Yeah, classic.
Nice movie. I saw Navy guy or Army, like someone from the Army or from the Navy, I don't know.
Yeah,
commenting on movies that would portray war
accurately.
Yeah, the accuracy. And this guy, if I'm not mistaken, he was saying that Forrest Gump was one of the closest to like actual war scenes.
Yeah,
I don't know, you know this much better than I, right? You were part of that.
Yeah.
So
No,
what do you think about that?
That's an excellent question. I wasn't involved in that war, thank God, because that's nuts. I've read a lot about that war. And you said that, and reminds me of that scene where he's talking about the water. He's like, I seen water everywhere. There were sideways. He's like, sometimes water even came up from the ground or whatever. And he's like walking in the. But I do feel like at least from what I would expect the military to be like from when the time I was in to how it was back then, I definitely think, and what I've read, I see a lot of validity in what he said. Definitely. If you're interested in another movie out there that has a really good accuracy to like the war that I experienced, the movie's called Restrepo. Restrepo. And it's like a documentary, but it's an excellent a way to kind of view like the way the war was and how I experienced it and stuff. So Restrepo is definitely an interesting title.
Okay, you if you don't mind sending me, texting me because I'm pretty bad to remember.
Yeah, I will have to do that.
Yesterday it was funny because we were in the town hall, and a few folks came like to talk to me because like in these days everybody's virtual.
Yeah.
Very few people will open the camera. Like very few people have pictures, right, on their profile. So many times you talk to folks, you even have like kind of a relationship because you talk to them here and there, but you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Right? So, and because I was there presenting, right? So everybody knew who I was, right?
That's so cool.
I was introduced, right? Oh, here's Joel. He's going to present this, right? and then after after the presentation, people would come. Hey, Joe, nice to meet you. I am this person, and oh yeah, nice to meet you too. But I haven't.
Excuse me.
I don't remember who they are, man. I would see them, and I would. And hopefully they are not listening to this, but I would say, oh, nice to meet you too. Oh, very nice to see you finally in person. But man, like the names here are so weird. Like like it's not my country, it's not my language, my mother tongue. So it's so hard to connect the name with the person.
Dude, I'm still to this day under the firm belief that there's absolutely nobody on the face of the planet that is bad as remembering its names as I do. As soon as I meet people for the first time, especially, and like I'm having, like I'm introducing or we're having a conversation, I'm focused on about 3 billion other data points than any of the words that you're actually saying. I can't really explain it, but like my mind just kind of shuts off and I'm looking at your nonverbal communication. I don't want to say like I'm making any judgments or assessments, but I'm collecting all of this data, and I just never. It's like my brain never hears anybody say their actual name, and I am absolutely it's so weird. I can't I'm especially if it's the very first time I'm being introduced to somebody. Like, and as soon as they start speaking, it's like my mind kind of it's people like here. I don't even hear that. It's like I don't even hear anything, and my brain just sort of like. Looking at their smile, looking at their facial features, looking at the clothes they're wearing, the posture, how do they reach out, and I never remember names. Never remember names. And it's like really, really difficult for me to recall them. And it takes me time and time again. Like I literally, no lie, like when I meet people, I have to, especially like at the summit, when I like Rodrigo and like I'm remembering names, like I'm literally I'm like having to like do like high school, memory. I'm like Rodrigo, I'm like repeating it, because I'm that poor with names. So I feel you. I don't know what it is. I have a really interesting memory. I don't know if you've heard of GMS. If you have anybody, I don't know what grade your daughter's in, but definitely if she's interested in learning like mnemonics and like understanding how the brain actually remembers stuff. There's this crazy program I did called GMS back in the day, led to some really good results, but for some reason, never been able to apply that to names.
I do have to ask you a question now.
Yeah.
Do you remember my name, right?
Yes. Like, I don't have to say it out loud, right? No, I do have a question though, because I've heard so many people too, like they don't. I've heard quite a few people leave off the L, right? I've seen, I don't know if that's intentional. Do people just call you Joe, or do they call you like Joel or Joel, or what is your preference?
I don't have a preference. Like I let people feel comfortable, right? So whatever you feel comfortable, whatever you can pronounce, that's fair to me. As long as I know, and I know, like that I know, Like,
I feel you.
So like the actual pronunciation in my in Portuguese would be Joel.
Okay,
it's not Joel. It's not Joel. It's Joel.
Yeah.
But I really don't expect people to pronounce that. Like
Yeah.
Man, see,
You probably get
they,
more people mess it up than they get it correct if they
so
tried to do it.
yeah, what I'm trying to do now is actually change just to Joe, right? So
Yeah.
whenever I'm able to edit my name,
Uh-huh.
I would just cut it out the L, so
Yeah.
it's just Joe, right?
Yeah, and that's
So
what
Joe
I've
is
been
great.
referring to you. I like I don't know, some of the sound you kind of just look like a Joe. And I usually like with VJ. Not that I can't say his name. I think there's certain people and maybe it's again my poor brain trying to make it simple to work with what I actually remember. But I've always said Joe, and I never thought I was like I never actually asked them because sometimes people don't like it, right? They're like I don't like when people call me Marcus or whatever whatever their name is. They don't like
Well, but like
P
I don't
memory.
know, but see, they have to understand, right? What is the first language, right? Because here in Canada, at least, there's people from all over the place, right? Everywhere. Like it's a Babylon,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
There's hundreds of nationalities here, and I have all the respect for everybody, right?
Yeah.
But I cannot. Is not is not possible. Is not programmed in my tongue, like physically,
Yeah.
to produce
No,
specific
it's
sounds,
very true. That's very
right?
true, right? Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
So I don't have that ability. Physical ability
Hmm.
is not persistence. Is not like maybe if I keep trying for 5 years, yeah. But
Eventually, you'll get there.
yeah, but it's see
Well, don't
they
don't
they
worry.
have to understand, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Besides, they would be far less embarrassed about how you say it than your dancing. And I'm not going to show the dance video, right? I don't know if you saw the summary. I stopped it. I stopped the clip right before you started dancing. To make sure
Vibor was pulling me, and yeah, thank you.
that's
No,
gonna
but it
be
was not the worst. It
blackmail.
was not the worst.
Oh, I didn't see it. You know how I get like my whole philosophy is that's the snake pit, right? If you go back there, and if you want to drink, there's no way you're getting past Vibor and the crew, and you're getting a free beer without dancing, right? So I got to pick and choose, So I didn't see all of the shenanigans and all of the nonsense. I'm sure I would have been myself some nonsense if they would have caught me dancing. So but of course, VJ, I got him dancing on the boat, right? There's no way to get around that. Focus on the background, but he was shaking it in front of the camera, and you gotta,
That's nice.
gotta put that one in.
Hey,
Um,
can I just ask for a pit stop? I need
yes,
to refill.
I need to refill and unfill, so I'll be right back as well. So
Okay,
put a GIF on the screen, and we'll be right back. And
okay.
hopefully somebody will put an interesting question. Hey, and just so you know, they said that Joe is way cooler, even in your mother tongue than how they say it in America. So there you go. Even with the L, it's cooler than how we say it here. All right, we'll be right back. He's going to play the drums for us. Let me see. Well, what do you think was the most impactful feedback that was given to the UiPath Summit? Joe's going to come up, so I'd love to get his thought on this. But I think that the most impactful feedback was that we personally believe that their licensing is dog shit. The complexity, the number of licenses, the types of licenses that they have. We feel it's too convoluted. It doesn't allow for ease of use. And I'm going to get a clip. I'm going to get a clip that they took of us where we all complained about licensing at the same time. And I can't wait. I'm going to put that in a video, but it was such an important point that came up so many times that they agreed that they're going to bring the senior sales reps and the licensing team together with the MVPs, right, Joe? And then we're going to have our own conversation in a few weeks, and we're going to share how convoluted we think their licensing model is.
Yeah, it's going to be a good conversation, to be honest.
I'm excited. Yeah, it's just too much, right? And I think that what I got away from what the MVPs want, right, is I feel like everybody wants, first of all, like just free development, right? If we want to build something, it shouldn't cost to just be able to build something.
That's so basic, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's so basic. I've never thought about that because, like, I started with Studio, Community, so it was free. But those other MVPs, that's why I was so blown away, because they brought so many different points. Like, and I thought, wow, that's true, right? If they like,
that's very true, yeah.
If they are selling a product, the least that they should do is like provide free development environment for everybody.
Yeah,
which doesn't happen to every tool in this ecosystem, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct. I think that's so important. I think that was a big piece of feedback. One thing that wasn't a big piece of feedback, but I saw as a positive, is I kept seeing, they kept talking about a unified product, and I kept actually seeing evidence of that displayed on their roadmap. And to give you an example, one of the things that they demoed for us was capability of insights baked into Orchestrator for your live in production processes. So when you're trying to capture value or different dashboarding, you get insights without requiring a license, kind of just baked into Orchestrator, right? Which hasn't been the case. So
it's
I think
not
that's
really insights, but it's
like a flavor of it, right? What did you see?
Exactly.
What did you tell me? What your thoughts on that was?
Well, the unified product, but it actually was unified administration, right? The insights, like what the orchestrator is going to have is actually an enhanced feature, reporting feature, right?
There you go.
But it's still, yeah, it's not the insights.
Yeah, not full insights. Very true. Very true.
But someone said something very true, like, with that enhanced feature, why would people buy insights?
I'm not going to buy it anyway, right? I don't think it's, don't get in trouble.
Man, I used to be a very, insights guy.
Yeah.
Until people started using the insights that I installed.
I'm sure that'll be it for another story, but I'd love to we should have just the discussion about data. So
I thought you would say we should have a discussion about funny stars, because I have so many.
Oh, dude, I'll even break out. I'll have to go through and dust off some stuff, but I'll even break out some old workflows where my startup had to come in and replace like an Accenture build, and I could show you like some stuff that you're like, holy, what is this? What am I looking at? So I have some pretty funny stories, but insights I think there's just there's better tools. I think they built it for a lot of reasons. I think that it's going to get better, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, the next version is going to get better because it's going to have the real-time data.
Yeah, which is important.
It's going to have all the data, not all the data, of course, from the orchestrator, but the most important, like real-time data, for example, transactions, all the states, right, for the transactions, because this is something we have a problem right now. pending transactions or in progress transactions, they are not sent to the insights.
Mm-hmm.
And we have real complaints about that, because then the business users, they want to see not only what is finished, but also what is being processed.
Yeah,
So
yeah, very
how
true.
would you solve that, right? It's a very fair question,
I've
right?
I've solved that kind of stuff with even before Insights existed. And what I did was I created a SQL database, and I would push updates to the SQL database real time as transactions got done instead of doing batch transactions. And then I built an HTML front end that just sort of organized the data, and I had bars that would show
Well,
them real time.
but then see, you have the freedom to create your own solution. But now, if you were in an organization that was mandating you to use insights for every
Yeah,
report, right? That was our case. We were saying insights is the reporting tool. So
I
do
still
your
would have.
reports there.
I still would have used SQL, and I would have just
No,
used
you don't
Insights.
have the option for SQL.
You do. Make IT give you SQL or Azure
No.
or something. They got to. You can't get enough data points. Depending, I guess it's all probably how you build your solution. But a lot of people I've seen, they don't build them that great. So I also had a question. Somebody said, "What's your thoughts on Xbox shutting down the 360 marketplace?" I don't even the 360 marketplace, like the store. I have no idea. They shut that down. So why is there Game Pass then if there's no store? Oh, just for the Xbox 360 marketplace? Well, I mean, who wants to play 360 games on a new console? There's some. I do, that's very true. I wonder if they're shutting down the emulator. I'm sorry, I'm a gamer, so when I see these kind of gamer questions, these things like pop up to me. Um,
I cannot play.
I know you have an addictive personality. I heard about your Star
Yeah,
Wars. You
yeah, exactly. So
you can't get you.
right next to me, like
Mhm.
5 feet away from me, there is a PS5 console,
Oh man.
and right now for me, I have just Jedi, right? The Fallen Order and the Survivor. I was planning to buy a third one, brand new, and I had some ideas,
Hmm.
and I just thought no, because if I buy, I will play. If I
Yeah.
play, I will waste time. If I waste time, I'm not producing anything good. So I just said, okay, I'm not gonna buy.
That's so true, bro.
So
I'd be much more productive if I wasn't gaming.
so here's the thing, right? It, sometimes we cannot control ourselves. Like
On certain
if I
stuff,
had
it's very true.
if I have a video game right here, I would be playing right very often. If I have a beer next to me, I'm gonna drink.
Cheers
So
to that.
cheers. If I don't want to play, what I do, I don't have a game.
Yeah,
But
smart.
yeah,
Very, very, very smart. I wish I could, but I'm like Mo there though. I bought a bunch of games on 360 because I've been gaming for far too many years. So I see that and it makes me wonder like what happens to the games that I bought. Xbox will stop supporting the ability to purchase new games. They say they'll stop maybe where you can purchase new games. So hopefully they leave the normal shit alone, stuff that you buy, and you can still play like Mortal Kombat or whatever. So
so
yeah, what do you got? What do you got? You're about to say
yeah, so
something.
yeah, we because I had this thread of thought talking about controlling yourself and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Like in this tech world where everything's a distraction, right?
Mm-hmm.
You turn on your phone, you have
Oh, dude.
the world in your hands. uh
Yeah.
Man, how do you cope with distractions? Like,
Yeah.
are
So
you able? So here's an interesting thing. Like
yeah.
back in the day, I remember listening or hearing that we, out of 8 hours
Mm-hmm.
that we were working,
Yeah.
we used to have like 6 or 7 hours that we were actually working.
Mm-hmm.
These days, I I believe it's I don't know. It depends a lot. Like I work more than that, definitely. But
Yeah.
with the distractions is that reduced a little bit. So how do you do? How do you cope with distractions?
Yeah, so I love that you even brought this up because I've been working on a YouTube video for months now, writing the script, and that's exactly what it's about. I have the whole track picked up, but in this segment of the video, because it's all about starting over and kind of like how do you get rid of distractions and like how do you focus. But part of the skit in the video is I have this three or four or five, six different scenes where I'm snapping between scene to scene, and I'm like saying like this food's a distraction, like I throw a burger on the table. I'm like the phone's a damn distraction, and it's like everything's a distraction. But I wish I had my notes here because I would tell you like even in that plan, like there's a couple of things that I've identified, right? And let me see if I can just type it up. But one of the things I know, first of all, is one of the advices that I give is I say get sick of your distractions, right? The first thing you have to do is identify. Actually, no, I didn't even search in notes. Distraction. Okay, yeah. So the first thing is you have to identify, and so you can kind of watch this screen. I have it popped up on your face right now. I'll pull it to the side. But I said first of all, you have to understand the problem. The first thing is distractions are satisfying, right? That's one of our biggest issues is distractions are satisfying, and that's when I go into my spiel. I'm like, drinks with friends satisfying. I even make a joke here because I'm a gamer. It says 15 matches of Warzone and not winning one. So much fun, it's like distraction. Even though you're not even winning, you're just freaking distracted, right? I said everything's a distraction. And I kind of talk about the best way to get rid of distractions is becoming unsatisfied with them, right? So start hating. When you recognize one of your big distractions, is start getting disgusted with it, right? Just like every time you pick up a controller, if gaming's a distraction, just like feel gross, like feel disgusted by it. And I promise you'll find something better to do with your time. It might not be the best, but you'll be able to switch it. And then the next reason we have a problem with, it's fun, so it's like you queued this up, and I haven't even made this video yet. But my next point is that reason distractions are satisfying because change means death, right? If you're going to give up something that you've already been doing, whether it's Facebook or, skate, whatever you feel is a big distraction, to give that thing up it's part of your identity. And it makes it really hard to say, I'm just not going to go and drink every day. It's because that's a part of your identity. So and essentially changing means death, right? You have to kill off a part of yourself. So then my thing is like, well, then own it. Get out the axe. Figure out what you need to chop in order to carve out some time to get a new distraction, a positive one, right? And then the last point that I make is actually about science. Cato, he just knocked over my Cato wall. He broke in. He was like, boom! I have like 3 boxes.
I saw that. I saw the door shaking.
And but the last is actually based in science. There's this part of your brain called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, right? Anterior mid-cingulate cortex, and it has to do with will. And the only time it gets activated is when you're doing something that you don't enjoy doing. Hey, stop! I'm talking. What's up, bro? Huh? You came in and interrupted our podcast, brother. Here, come here. Come here. Say hi. This is Uncle Joe. Come here.
Hello.
Say hi to Uncle Joe.
Hi.
Hello.
I can see Uncle Joe.
See, I can't see Uncle Joe here. He'll say hi.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I don't know.
You don't know how you are.
Say, I'm 3, about to be 4.
About to be 4 baby.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, but
I'll get ready. You get ready. We're finishing up this podcast. We got like 10 minutes left. But yeah, this part of the brain, no, you can't have my empty Jack and Coke. He's trying to grab my empty cans. But basically, like this part of the brain, it's well developed in people that live really long. It's overdeveloped in people who are professional athletes. And you activate it every time you do something that's challenging or you do something that you don't want to do. You can consider it like the David Goggins like part of your brain, right? It's just the one that you build up when you do uncomfortable stuff. And so, knowing science, then, figure out, get used to being uncomfortable, right? If you're starting to do something or build a new habit or build a new, a new distraction that's positive, just know it's going to be uncomfortable. Lean into that and know every time you're uncomfortable that you're in the right spot, right? It's where you need to be. So I know you didn't cue me up, but I've been actually writing this stuff because I feel like it's important, right? It's so hard to break away from today's distractions.
But you said something so true, like getting disgusted
about, with your habit?
Yeah.
Your distraction?
No, with your distraction. So I don't have social media other than LinkedIn, right? That LinkedIn is my only place.
Yep.
But I used to have YouTube on my phone. And YouTube back like a few years ago, I don't know when the shorts started to pop up. Before the shorts, YouTube was awesome, right? I would just log in, I would see some videos. It was a different experience, right? So I would search something that I want to see. I am a drummer, so I would like to see drummers playing, or there's a list of things that I like. But anyway, when the shorts came up, like just flipping, right? And
scrolling.
I don't know, 5 out of just scrolling. 5 out of 10 like are videos that I don't know why they are there. and I'm like, I don't want to watch. This is good. I don't want to watch. So I was, and then I installed this app to track how much time I was wasting on my phone.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big one. Yep.
Man, I was just so upset with myself that I was wasting so much time right on YouTube videos that I didn't even
enjoy, right? Yeah.
Exactly, but as you said, was like to some extent was satisfying to my brain because I was there scrolling, and I tried many times just to remove, but the Android is so screwed, like, it doesn't let me uninstall.
Yeah, right.
It just disabled, right? It's just disabled the YouTube, so it would disable. And then the next day, I would disable.
Dude, yeah.
And then, I had so many strategies. Oh, I would disable during the week and enable during the weekend, but it wouldn't work. Eventually, I would just enable again and
doom scrolling.
And I would be working here and then get distracted. Oh, let me see some videos.
Yeah.
Long story short, I know it's not so short, but I've been like probably a couple of months clean.
Yeah, there we go. It's a start. It's a start. Hey, I'll tell you what too, right? I wish that even for my son's sake, like he being only 3 to 4, like he's learned so much on YouTube, like the actual long form videos, right? Like so he's learned so much, but I even catch him hopping on shorts and watching stuff that, hey, first of all, there's stuff on shorts where people just are ridiculous and that shouldn't even be on YouTube, right? Especially like if you take kids' cartoons and you're like cursing over them, right? And it's just like, and like making your own horrible ass jokes, right? Like that stuff kind of sickens me that it's even on the platform. But I wish there was a way where I could disable just the shorts and let him watch just long form, right? Like he would be much better off kind of watching that stuff than the kind of attention seeking stuff that I see on shorts, right? Especially that's aimed at kids that has like candy and like stuff they say it's crazy. Man. So
the short videos are so dumb these days that instead of helping you to improve, they are just making you dumber.
Yeah. It's just about getting impressions and clicks and growing like subs
exactly
count.
It's money, right?
Yeah, to a lot of people it is only.
So whatever they do, they want to grow revenue and do whatever it takes.
Yeah,
to make money, and then these guys will just make stupid things.
Yeah, they really will.
They don't mind being stupid.
Yep.
As long as they get views.
Hey, as long as they get paid, right? Some people don't care. You'll find that in society. It's crazy that some people get that kind of traction, but hey, I can't. What they say, don't hate the player, hate the game, and so I won't do it. Hey, stop yelling, brother. Yelling. All right, man. I think we're closing out on time. Any last thoughts as we wrap up before my kid steals my microphone?
Well,
Kids are YouTubers, Rob.
I'm just going through the papers from MVP. Like we didn't talk too much about the MVP actually. Man, I like
it's gonna be plenty for next time, brother. I told you it's gonna take more than one.
Exactly. Well, with the pace that we are having,
that's gonna take a month. Hey, for everyone,
just joking.
Yeah, for everyone who's here too, right? We didn't just spin forward like not planning. We have some people who want to be guests on the podcast, right? To include the godfather of DU, George Roth himself, right? So he basically invented document understanding, and he mentioned that he would be willing to come in here and talk. So we got some plans. We're gonna get back on schedule, do this every week. We're gonna definitely give a deep dive to forward, right? In the following session, we'll kind of talk about some more stuff. We didn't even get into the different products, right? A deep dive. And we didn't even, I don't even know if we can talk about the easy button yet, right? I don't even think that we're allowed to even talk about the easy button. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, that thing was so good, but so scary.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know if we can talk about that, but yeah, it is interesting because we had it like we talk after a while. And our perspectives were so different, right?
Yeah. Oh, very true. Very true. First and second, and like year MVP versus like infrastructure versus core development, right? What I could do with it. Mo says he can't wait to hear about the MVP Summit 14 podcasts from now. So, man, I know, right? With the Bears, we got to slow down on the Bears and get more into the podcast of the Summit. We'll definitely cover that. I will have a longer, detailed video on YouTube next week. I'm going to work on it this weekend. You guys will get a highlight reel of the summit. I already shared it with Joe. He thought it was solid, so because I didn't include his dancing. So we'll definitely
don't do that.
don't do that. But we'll have that released next week to give you guys at least a flavor and see some video and actual footage from the summit. But yeah, Joe, I mean, what do you think? Any what's closing arguments, right? Before we wrap this up. Cato left, so we actually got a, did he leave?
Oh,
snuck out, yeah.
The production guy left?
No, Cato, the tiny terror who was yelling and shooting, and I don't know if you saw.
I couldn't hear.
He was trying to shoot me with a full size Nerf gun. You heard it in the background gearing up.
Actually, we couldn't hear. But
yeah.
Man, I see.
Mo, don't you say give my production guy a raise. It's my teenage son. He's gonna ask for more money. He's gonna ask for more allowance. They like your DVD, and your GIFs apparently. Shout out to my my, what do we call you? What are you? You're the data analyst. He's our data analyst. Me and Joe's data analyst. He looks up.
Analyst.
Oh, speaking of that too, I didn't even give a chance. I guarantee I looked at the product, Mo. I had somebody that asked me a question about a product, and we're going to talk about the rabbit next episode, next Friday, along with our summit discussion.
So as a closing argument,
yeah,
then let's prepare something better for next episode and actually talk about the summit. Like, was really good conversation. Like, as I said in the first day we had this, like, just by being here and talking and drinking, it's already a pleasant experience, right?
Right. Definitely.
But at the same time, like, let's try to bring something
valuable more tangible
for whoever is watching. And I see some folks commenting. I really appreciate it because it's not easy to listen to us, man.
Speak for yourself, Joe. No, I'm kidding. Right? It does. Yeah. So we'll add more value. Hey, speaking of that, let's just connect, right? We'll get some more specific talking points. I know we can jam all day, but I know that let's talk about DU. Let's talk about what we saw, orchestration, some of the changes.
Process orchestration is awesome. I really like it. Process discovery, test suite, all those shenanigans that we saw over there.
Yeah.
Really awesome stuff. I am really excited with the new features they are bringing. But at the same time, as you may suppose, I'm really scared to some extent.
Yeah.
With my security vision.
So true. So true.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely let's deep dive on those discussions on our next episode. And man, really glad to be here. I was longing for this the entire week, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it's been like 3 weeks
Yeah. It
since
has been
our
3
last
weeks.
episode.
It
Yeah.
has.
So I was really longing for this, and finally we made it. So yeah, looking forward for the next.
Perfect. Same, Joe. I am excited for the next one. We'll continue to refine how we present this to you guys for everybody that tuned in. Thank you guys so much for hanging in, dropping a comment in the chat. This is something we're going to get serious about. We'll continue to refine it. We'll try to get better guests on here consistently. Joe, appreciate it, sir. I hope you have a wonderful evening with your family. I appreciate you. Appreciate our senior media analyst, data, not senior yet. He's still junior. I just gave him Mo, see what you did. Damn you. I gave him a free promotion. Our junior got a demotion, junior data analyst. We'll be around. If you guys are gaming after this, hit me up. I'll be on, probably play some more Zone. Other than that, Joe, love you, brother. Hope you have a wonderful weekend with your family, friends.
Thank you, man. You too.
right.
Yeah, all the best for you and the family, and see you next week.
Sounds good. And see you guys in the chat next week as well. We will be here. Have a good one. Later.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, brother, you shutting us down?